The movie starts with Luna seemingly leading a tour of a museum. We see miniature ships, lighthouses, and artifacts through the lenses of a spyglass. She is interrupted by her coworker, Angelina, and is a little embarrassed since she was just pretending to be leading a tour in an empty museum. Her friend informs her of a visitor, but Luna does not want to see anyone. Angelina leaves and Luna walks towards a painting, takes out a letter hidden behind it, and reads it. She returns it before looking around the museum in resignation. In the next scene, we see Angelina finish up a phone call confidently, as Luna waits impatiently. After her call, she hands over a folder to Luna informing her of a business deal involving the museum. But the latter does not want to give in. She doesn't want to rent out to just anybody, but they need to think fast since the museum is deep in debt and on the verge of closing down. Angelina suggests that they open up the museum to events, and this excites Luna momentarily as she hopes to invite her favorite history writer to give a history talk, but her excitement dwindles as her friend opposes the idea. Angelina informs her that instead of a historical event, the museum should be used for weddings since the rental fee for weddings is usually on the high side and would save the museum in 6 months. Luna is not very receptive to this, and we see how much she loves the museum as well as the books and artifacts it holds. Angelina allays her fears since the plan is just to rent out the museum on weekends, in spring and summer. Luna mentions how she would love to have her wedding at the museum that her father loved, with a dreamy expression on her face. Angelina is shocked that Luna even thinks about getting married, but the latter dismisses her. She explains that she does not have time to think about a relationship since the museum takes all her time. She tells her friend that she wants to make her dad proud of the legacy he left behind, and Angelina informs her that the first step is to pay the bills and keep the place afloat. Luna finally accepts to rent out the museum for weddings, and her friend squeals in delight. The scene changes and we see a young man doing a terrible job of sneaking down a flight of stairs as the sole of his shoes clank noisily before he hurriedly sneaks down a hallway and into an office. Without even raising her head, the lady in the office admonishes him for sneaking around. She informs him that their father, whom he is hiding from, is busy with meetings. This is Jackson, and the woman on the computer is his sister, Posey. Posey does not understand why he has to hide and sneak around every time he comes around, and Jackson explains that he does not want to upset their father, and that it's just best for him to hide. Posey points out that the reason he feels this way is that he left the family company to set up a rival company, but Jackson did not let her finish before insisting that it's not a rival company, just one where he can work on his passions. He admits that he needs a little help and his sister sees through him, realizing that he wants a seat on the board. He explains that being on the board would help him do more and help more people. He further convinces her with pictures of a company that uses technology to help clean the ocean, and how he wants to use his status on the board to vote for and fund projects like that. Posey does not understand why her brother just can't talk to their father about it, but Jackson reminds her that their father is old-fashioned and would not listen to his ideas. He makes sure Posey is convinced before leaving to prepare for the board meeting. Back at the museum, Angelina and Luna are outside. On the dock, as Angelina tells her friend that pictures would make sure they find business deals quicker. Draped over her arm is a wedding dress, and she shoves it to Luna, ordering her to put it on. Minutes later, Luna is clad in the white frilly dress and her friend happily snaps away, ignoring her awkwardness. They continue to take more pictures, and when Angelina moves the camera to find a better spot, she is interrupted by a man. It's Jackson, and he was cleaning the debris from the surface of the water when he saw Angelina and mistook her for a reporter. Irritated, he walks over to her and deletes the pictures from the camera as she tries to stop him. Luna hears the commotion and walks over, wondering what was wrong. Jackson is shocked for a moment as he gapes at her before noticing her wedding dress. He realizes that he interrupted her wedding photo shoot and quickly apologizes. Luna is upset that she has to take the wedding photos again, and Jackson apologizes furiously, even offering to pay for the deleted photos. They argue back and forth about saving the ocean and have a little moment before Jackson excuses himself. Back at the museum, Luna and Angelina look through the shots they got, and to Luna's surprise, Jackson appears in one of the pictures. Angelina explains that she noticed that they seemed intimate while they talked, plus Jackson was wearing a suit which fit the part, making them look like a real couple. Luna does not like it, but Angelina assures her that nobody will see the picture since it's just for their dream board. She tells Luna all about Jackson and his rich family, as well as the good he does for the environment. She explains how he is a very eligible bachelor, but Luna does not care. Angelina then moves to save the pictures to a folder on her computer but accidentally sends it to the museum's mailing list, among which is Nalan Elias, the best journalist in town. Luna becomes very worried and starts to freak out, but Angelina implores her to remain calm since they can delete the pictures if they hurry. She quickly tries to delete it, but Nalan and over half of their receivers have opened the email and seen the photo. Luna continues to freak out, worried that the public would misunderstand and she would get a lot of backlash which would affect her museum. But Angelina continues to tell her to remain calm so they can think of a solution. The next day, they receive a ton of congratulatory flowers in the museum, and they discuss how to make it stop. Angelina claims that his assistant won't talk to her, thinking she's a gossip column. They soon realize that all they need to do is get Jackson to release a public statement refuting any engagement claims and dismiss the picture. But they have a problem: they don't know how to find him. Angelina soon remembers a house her cousin saw, away from the hustle and bustle of the town that is the home of the Valentines, Jackson's family. She convinces Luna that they should drive up there and try to talk to him one-on-one, which they do. They quickly drive up, and pretending to be reporters, get access to the house. When Jackson comes out to meet them, Luna quickly apologizes for the photo and asks him to release a statement dismissing the picture. Initially, he agrees, thinking she is talking about something else. But then he finds out about the picture and, surprisingly, does not seem worried. Luna implores him again to release a statement, but he does not think it is necessary. He says that nobody would believe that Jackson Valentine would be getting married to someone like Luna. He did not mean to be insensitive or hurt her feelings, but he did, and Luna, hurt to the bone, leaves angrily with Angelina awkwardly on her tail. The women get back to the museum and get a message in the answering machine from Nalan, the journalist, asking to meet with Luna and talk about her engagement. Luna is bummed because the one time that Nalan agreed to meet with her, it is about a wedding that isn't going to happen. In the next scene, we see Jackson having an argument with his sister, Posey, about the upcoming seat on the board of directors. Posey asks why their father would even want to vote for him when all he wants to do is to bring in opposing ideologies. But Jackson tries to explain that he wants to bring in new ideas for the company. Posey does not buy it since everyone believes he is not very responsible and only likes to do what he wants. Her statement gets Jackson thinking, and before Posey can argue some more, an idea pops into his head and he hurriedly excuses himself. Back at the museum, we see Nalan and Luna standing outside as the journalist asks about the engagement with Jackson. Luna tries to steer the conversation to the museum, but Nalan is only concerned with the engagement. He explains to Luna that his editor wants a really good story and the engagement with Jackson is going to be a best-selling one. Luna is fed up and decides to tell Nalan the truth about the whole engagement saga, and just as she tells him that she does not have anything to do with Jackson, a car pulls up behind them. Nalan is surprised and confused as Jackson gets out of the car and walks towards them, but Luna is even more confused when Jackson hugs her from behind and greets her like they're engaged. Jackson apologizes to Nalan about Luna refuting their engagement and explains that the reason she did is that they had agreed to keep the whole thing private. Nalan is happy, but Luna is still confused. She asks Nalan to excuse them and pulls Jackson into the museum. Annoyed, she turns on him, but Jackson quickly explains that the engagement is a good publicity stunt that would help her museum as well as his business. He tells her that after they get the interview they want with Nalan, they can have a very public breakup. Luna does not like the idea since Nalan is also her friend, but she eventually agrees before pulling him back out to where Nalan and Angelina are standing. Luna apologizes to the journalist about what she said earlier and confirms that the engagement is official. Behind them, a woman in her 60s parks her car and walks up to them just in time to hear Luna's engagement declaration. Luna is dumbfounded to see her mother as Jackson quickly saves the situation by hugging the woman, calling her mom, like a true mother-in-law. The woman plays along until Nalan leaves convinced, and then the rest go back into the museum. Luna tries to explain to her mother, but the woman does not listen, as she stays focused on the food before them. Luna tells Jackson that whenever her mother is angry, she keeps talking about food and won't look anybody in the eye. Luna's mother, Lynn, explains that she is not angry, but she wishes Luna had told her about the engagement. Luna tries to explain to her mom, but Lynn is not having it. Hurt, she wonders why her daughter was keeping such a huge secret from her. As the women talk, Jackson, standing by Luna's side, does not even raise his head from his phone. Luna nudges him and, finally putting his head up, takes the blame. He explains to Lynn that they didn't tell her because they wanted to wait till lobster night to tell the whole family. Luna is dismayed because she doesn't know what lobster night is, but Lynn is ecstatic. The fake couple spends the next few days getting to know each other to make their saga more believable, especially for the interview. Luna takes notes even though Jackson thinks it is unnecessary. They find that they both share a love for the ocean, and Luna tells him about her father who died 3 years earlier. We learn that she was close to him and his death hurt her badly. In addition to that, her mom had a boyfriend and Luna felt like he wanted to take her dad's place. Jackson also tells her of his decision to leave the family company and build his startup from scratch to the dismay of his family. Just before the lobster night with their families, the duo decide to go get an engagement ring to make their story more believable when they break the news at dinner. At the entrance of the jewelry store, they see Dominic, Lynn's boyfriend. He hints that Luna should go see her mother before they spend a ton buying a ring. Luna does this, and to her dismay, Lynn offers her daughter her old wedding ring. Luna does not want to take it, but Lynn convinces her, saying she hasn't worn it in years and that she wants Luna to have it. The younger woman is devastated because she knows that the whole engagement is a lie and the ring is too much, but she can't tell her mother, so she swallows her complaints and puts the ring on. Finally, lobster night arrives and Jackson's mother, Isabel, is overjoyed to see her son. They go to eat, and during the meal, Jackson introduces Luna as his fiancée, shocking his family, while Lynn and Dominic act surprised. Posey starts throwing questions at the fake couple, trying to find out what game her brother was playing. Soon, the discussion shifts to a lighthouse that was demolished years ago, as Luna talks about her father. Soon, she has a pretty intelligent conversation with Jackson's father. Jackson is to find that his dad used to be adventurous too. The dinner goes fairly well, and in the next scene, we see the couple carrying cleaning supplies. To Jackson's chagrin, they go to clean a boat, but they end up having a lot of fun together, bonding. Later that night, Lynn tells them that she and Dominic plan to throw an engagement party. The couple are not as excited as expected, and Dominic explains that it will be something small. Luna does not really like the idea, but they agree so as not to disappoint Lynn. Luna tells Jackson later that an engagement party is too much for a fake engagement, but he tells her that they just have to put up with it for a few more days, just until the interview with Nolan. He explains that an engagement party would further convince people, and Luna remains quiet, thinking. The next day, she and Lynn go to pick a cake for the engagement party, and Luna tries again to convince her mother not to throw a party. Lynn ignores her attempts and implores her to taste the cake samples before them and pick one. Lynn tells her daughter to stop overthinking and focus on the good things. Giving up, Luna drops the topic and focuses on the cake samples before her. On their next bonding date, Luna talks to Jackson about her dad again and tells him about the letters from her dad, hidden all over the museum. She claimed it was like a treasure hunt and made her feel like he was still with her. They spent the next few hours finding the letters and reading them as Luna continued to tell Jackson stories about her dad. They don't realize it yet, but they've gotten incredibly close, and there seems to be more chemistry between them. They find the last letter, and Luna confides in Jackson, telling him that she still secretly hopes to find one more letter from her dad. In the next scene, we see Jackson and his father having a discussion. They are talking about business, and Jackson tells his dad a story from his childhood about when he was scared to go up the stairs of the lighthouse. His dad, who had already gotten to the top, came back down to pick him up and take him up the stairs. Jackson explains how he felt loved that his dad went up and down the stairs 3 times just because of him. The two men seem to quietly settle their rift. Back at the Maritime Museum, Jackson's sister came to see Luna and mentioned the book that Luna is working on. During lobster night, a few days ago, Jackson had mentioned to his family, to Luna's dismay, that she was working on a book. Posey also mentioned that Jackson told her that her favorite author was Imogen Heron, so she decided to reach out to her. Luna is a little confused, and Imogen comes in, surprising her. Unable to believe her eyes, Luna's jaw drops before she finally collects herself and, bouncing excitedly, goes to hug her favorite history author. Posey explains that their company has acquired the author's books for their e-library, and they also want to publish Luna's book. Luna is not very confident about her book, and she tells them that it's not yet finished, for Posey tells her that there is no rush. At the big house, Luna and Jackson joke around playfully as they walk up from the lake. Victor, Jackson's father, sights them, and his mind wanders thoughtfully. Later that day, Luna tries on dresses for her mom and Angelina, but she is not as excited as they are. She's still uncomfortable with throwing an engagement party for her fake engagement. Lynn emotionally mentions Luna's father and how proud he would be to see his daughter getting married. This statement upsets Luna as she hurries into the bathroom. Lynn and Angelina are confused as to why she reacted that way. In the bathroom, Luna cries gently as strokes the necklace her father gave her, wondering what he would think of her if he found out that she got herself involved in a fake engagement to deceive her family and friends. The next day, Luna and Jackson spend some more time together, and later that night she tells Angelina that she is too uncomfortable with the engagement party and the whole engagement saga. She further reveals to her friend that she is planning to confess everything to Lynn, but Angelina tries to stop her from making a mistake. She tries to make Luna see reason that they are very close to achieving what they want. Luna bursts out angrily, demanding to know what exactly it is they want to achieve. She does not think the whole interview thing with Nolan is worth it, because the journalist doesn't even care about the Maritime Museum and keeps focusing on the engagement with Jackson. Angelina notices Luna's demeanor and realizes that her friend is in love with Jackson. She voices her thoughts, but Luna denies it, saying that she thought there was something more than just a pretense between them, but she just realized that it's just a publicity stunt for him. Upset, Angelina takes the blame for everything and tearfully apologizes to Luna for putting her in such a difficult position, all because she attempted to save the museum. Luna stops her friend from blaming herself and explains that she went with the whole thing because she cares about the museum. Grabbing her engagement dress, Luna looks her friend in the eye and tells her that she still cares about the museum and will do anything to save it. At the home of the Valentines, Jackson sits worried, thinking about the whole engagement saga, and soon Posey comes up to him and tries to talk to him. She asks him what's wrong, and he starts to ask her cryptic questions about business, but she doesn't understand. Exasperatedly, he tells her about the fake engagement with Luna and how they are just using it for publicity. Posey sees that he is truly worried and realizes that her brother is in love with Luna. She is upset that Jackson decided to pretend to be engaged just to get a seat on the board, and she voices her disappointment in him. She explains that the only vote he should have been worried about was hers, and she is glad she did not even think of voting him in. She let him know that the future of the company is paramount and she doesn't want anything to jeopardize it. Soon the engagement party starts and everybody is having a good time. Luna enters looking thoughtful and upset, and while everyone fawns over her beauty, and her outfit, she goes over to Jackson and tells him that she wants to tell everyone the truth. Jackson pulls her outside and tries to convince her not to say anything since their interview with Nolan is just a few days away, but Luna is not having it anymore and she storms inside with a determined look on her face. Clicking her ring against her glass, she gets everyone's attention and tearfully breaks the news to them, apologizing for the deception. Everywhere becomes deathly silent as Jackson looks defeated and her mom storms out angrily. Luna leaves to clear her head and Jackson goes with her and tries to talk to her, but she asks to be alone. Posey comes out and asks Jackson if he told Luna how he felt, and she mentions his seat on the board. Luna, at the other side of the dock, hears a bit of their conversation and misunderstands what they're saying. She storms up to them and confronts Jackson, asking him not to contact her again. Later that week, Luna goes out with Lynn, and while they have lunch, Luna tries to get her mother to talk about the fake engagement with Jackson. Lynn refuses to speak and keeps talking about food, which upsets Luna, and she angrily asks her mother why she never talks about the important things. Lynn explains to Luna that she talks only about food because ever since her father died, Luna has been shutting everybody out and the only thing there is to talk about is food. Luna realizes that she had been pushing her mother away and tearfully apologizes. Lynn reveals that Dominic wants to propose, but they are worried that Luna will not want them to get married. Surprised, Luna tells her mother that she doesn't mind her getting married, and the women happily have a mother-daughter moment. Lynn gives Luna an envelope addressed to her. It was from her father and her mother was supposed to give it to her on her wedding day. In the letter, Luna's dad urges her to be happy and have fun. As Luna reflects on her father's words, she realizes that she has not truly been happy. Determined to make her dad proud, she hands over the running of the museum to Angelina and tells her that she wants to focus on finishing her book. Later, Posey comes over to the museum and offers Luna a publishing deal. In the next scene, we see Jackson moping around the house, and Posey urges him to contact Luna and tell her how he feels. Luna's book is published, and a reading party is thrown to celebrate it. As she gives her vote of thanks, she is distracted by a flashing light from outside, and she quickly excuses herself to go see it. She sees Jackson on the other side of the dock and hurries over to go meet him. Emotionally, they gush over each other and confess their feelings for each other before leaning in for a kiss.